Hi, and welcome to another video of the Targeted Individual Program, the Targeted Individual Experience. Now, excuse me, sorry, got gas. Um, okay, so in this video, okay, I'm going to take it back to part one of the video I did a week ago because I was looking for a certain section of a video that had these two people walking out of this shoe repair store you see here, and they were both doing hand signals to me, including death threats, right? And so after looking at two videos that I thought contained that footage, I did indeed find the video, and I know where that footage occurred. But I had to look at these two videos in its entirety, and when I looked at it more closely, there's certain things that I want to explain that's happening here. Okay, so again, this is Coercive Persuasion Program. It is a psychological program. Okay, that is a destructive um, psychological conditioning. Okay, now they may try to say and use security and public safety, which is what they do. When I say they, I'm talking about those in the authoritative position, those within the government, the security agencies who are carrying out non-consensual, illegal human uh, experimentation, non-consensual, illegal human experimentation. And so they uh, have to find ways in order to get away with it or try to get away with it. And one of the best ways to do that is to select individuals, to manipulate them, those individuals and their environment, to use what is called there is energy weapons for mind control. And you hear the sirens, the fire truck as I started. Haven't heard them all day, but started the video because they know what's coming. Okay, the truth. Okay, so to villainize the individual and to get the public or to turn the public and get those individuals to surveil them and watch them 24/7 by putting them in this coercive persuasion program, okay, which is again a front to discredit, to get rid of those individuals who they have been illegally microchipped for the purpose of remote monitoring, and also non-consensual human experimentation with the use of experimenting with directed energy weapons and mind control technology. Okay, and so again, you can find a lot of this information on psychologicalharassment.com. Okay, so let's get back to the video. So I'm going to try my best to explain what is going on here. When this was happening, I wasn't paying attention because I was helping my son do a crossword puzzle. So I didn't really pay attention to the stuff, like I said, until I watched these two videos in its entirety and really take note of what was happening. So this I'm going to explain. All right, so I'm going to mute the sound because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Okay. So remember I talked about going to pick up Pam from the inside clinic, which she worked on 2 Fridays ago, and she had asked me to come early because it was empty, and she was like, "Well, we'll probably leave a little early on time." Now the first thing that happened here, you see this guy right here in this gray jacket, as he approaches me. Let me go back. Okay, you'll see as he approaches me, he's going to look at me, and then he's going to take his phone out of his pocket as he look at me. So he looks at me, takes his phone out, looks at it. Okay. Now, perps do that to me a lot. And, it's a reminder. It could be a reminder of they have, they are listening to your call. But I don't think that's it because they're listening through the illegal, non consensual microchip, okay, that they've implanted in my brain for the purpose of remote neural monitoring. So I don't think it's that. Okay, it either has to me, and what I think, and this is just speculation. Okay, is that maybe I've said something, but then again, I don't know what, and then again, it could be them through the mind control technology that they use, right? Like silent sound spread spectrum, to get me to say something that they wanted to record. Okay, so that could be a reason. All right, but I do notice that every time I pass a perp, they'll take their phone out, look at it, look at me, and put it back in their pocket. And it's a repetitive thing. And I talked about repetitions, right? Repetitions means conditioning, psychological conditioning. So just so you guys know. Okay, so let's move on. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this video here because there's a few that I want to show. But I want to get to a particular section that I think is important. Uh, for example, here. Now, in this video, you'll see people walking. Well, you may not see because I may not show you guys everything. But there is a guy. He's walking here, and he has his phone in his hand. Now, again, you got to be very observant. If you're a TI, you notice certain things because you've been conditioned to it. So when people hold their phone in their hand to their ears, it's this. I've seen, because I'm targeted and do hand signal, people hold their phone, perps, when they're passing me by, and they'll hold it like this. Let me see if you guys can show it properly. Making their finger like a V for victory or what have you, right? And then they do the numbers thing. Well, they'll hold up certain fingers. They'll hold up usually like 3 or 4 fingers, like I showed you guys um, prior to uh, going back home after, waiting for Pam and parking behind this lady. Uh, she opened her trunk. She had groceries and stuff after denying us from going to grocery shopping. She opened her trunk and there's groceries, and this guy comes to the side, right, to the passenger side on the street, and does 4 fingers. Okay, takes his hands out of his pocket, does 4 fingers, puts his hand back in his pocket. Here you see he's doing 3 fingers. So he's holding his phone like this. Now, which individual, who do you know that hold their phone walking the street like this, right? Like this. Again, normal way people will hold their phone is this way. Okay, so if you're a target and you're seeing these things, people holding their phone in weird ways, they may even hold it like this, right, to cuff their ears. Like, it doesn't make any sense because even when you try to hold like that, it's very hard to hold onto this phone, and your phone will probably fall and break. So there's a reason why they're holding their phone like that. And again, these are all hand signals, right? And they love to play number games. Okay, repetitive numbers, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's one point that I have to make. Okay, so and then you'll see that they're all looking in this shoe store, the shoe repair store. Again, now look at her turn around and she looks at the sign of the hair salon. Okay. Now, why would she do that? Okay. Let's go back again. All right. That's too far here. Okay. Let's play it out. All right. So here's this dude. Okay, this is not it. Let me let this play because this I also forgot to show this, and so you'll see coming towards me. You'll see a young lady. Okay, as she approached me, she's going to start playing with her hair. Okay, so see she approaches. Now she starts playing with her hair. See her? Okay, it's a young Hispanic woman. Here she goes again, playing with her hair. Looks at me. Okay, now the guy comes again. 3 fingers. Okay, now it's a very young Hispanic, or not? She's not Hispanic. She might be of Indian descent, or well, Asian. You know, Asian Indian descent. She turns around. She looks at the hair salon sign, and again, this is how they condition your mind without you even realizing it. Okay, so before you become awakened to this stuff, they've been doing this stuff to you for years, conditioning you. Okay, till they do it enough because they know at approximately how long to do it before it's embed itself in your subconscious, right, in your psyche. So they've been doing this, okay, for long before you and I as target individuals were even aware of what was going on. Okay, now look how all of them start moving their hand at the same time as they start approaching me. Okay, all right, let's move on. Okay, all right, so if you look to the right again at the shoe repair store, you're going to see these 2 individuals. Okay, see this woman approaching. Actually, this woman approaching. As she approaches, she does this. Okay, then he walks and he bows his head. She goes into the shoe store. Soon you're going to see 2 individuals, man and a woman, approach and go into the shoe store. And it's these 2 individuals that's going to walk back out of the shoe store. Here they come. Okay, both of them. Okay. but they're not done. So this guy comes out of the this shop right here. Look, take his phone out, looks at it. Okay, stops. Remember, this is all orchestrated. This entire thing I'm explaining to you, it is all orchestrated. Now he looks at her. She's pushing the stroller. Okay, she's gonna take her gloves off. Okay, he's doing a hand signal. Again, there's another hand signal. And as he walks, he looks right into the shoe store, bows his head. Okay, and I'm gonna show you guys how this is all orchestrated. Okay, now I don't want to miss this because while this is going on, and there's traffic, you're gonna see a police car vehicle roll by. Let's see if I can. Yeah, too far. It's quite difficult operating this. If we call it a squirrel roll, but it's for the video, and it's very small, and so you got to do very small clicks. So here's the police vehicle with the lights on flashing. Okay, no sirens, and this is like about maybe a minute after these two couple went into the store, the shoe repair store, and then followed by a woman with the red jacket. So this is a red theme, right? They'll use that, incorporate that also in their targeting. All right. Okay. So let's go to the next video. Okay. Now this woman, again, you guys had seen before. She went into the shoe store, so she goes back in there again. Okay. Now maybe she had shoes in there, you know, but again, you know, this is all planned and orchestrated. Okay. There she comes back out. I'm trying to get to the point where those two people come back out of the shoe store. So he's looking at me. And this is what they do. They'll stare directly at me because, you know, they know what it is that they're doing. Okay. I think I might have missed it. All right. Okay. I'm trying to. Wait, did I? Okay. No, see another police car. As we was there, I've talked about the frequent sighting of police vehicles as I was waiting. Okay, so I missed the part where, again, because it's so difficult. So I'm gonna have to let this play, and when they come out, you guys will see, because I'm trying to navigate by skipping forward, and there is no way I can do like a fast forward, or maybe there is. Let's see. Can I? Nope, can't do it. Can't do it. All right, so I gotta let this play out. But again, this is the things that they do, how they orchestrate these things, and uh, it was a plan. Okay, that day, because they knew we were going to go to grocery shop. It was a plan. That's why no one showed up during the day, and the minute I showed up is when everyone started coming into the clinic. Okay, because they wanted me to wait, because they already had this scripted and set up so that when I got there, this is exactly what they do, the street theater. All right, this is how they carry it out. Okay, so I am. Let's see here. Uh, it should be coming out any minute. I was looking at the video on the Windows Media Player, and I was able to, do a fast scrub, so that way I can, basically see when. And I think it was around the 4 to 5 minute mark that they came out. So it was anywhere around here. Okay, and at that point, you see, I moved the camera, because at that point I realized that you know something is going on, and this shoe repair store have something to do with it. So you'll see people walk by, and they'll look directly into the shoe store. Okay, because they wanted me to pay attention because of what was going to happen, and I'll show you guys. So please bear with me. Um, I'm just going to let this play out, and when these two individuals come out of the shoe store, you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about. There's another guy staring at me. I mean, it's incredible, the length that these people will go through, right? And a lot of it has to do with the mind control technology also, the synchronization, particularly how they feed off of each other, how they move. Okay, you know what? Okay, I had to pause the video so I can just get to that part, which I finally found. Okay, so let's play the video. Okay, so here are these two people now. So they're coming out, their hands in their pocket, and he does this. See what he does? Okay, now touches his ears. Okay, now look at her. She takes her phone because she's showing me the phone. Okay, now again he touches his ears, but not also he touches his ears, the palm of his hand, because like I said, the conditioning of the palm, people walking in front of me, particularly a lot of women, and they'll put their hands behind their back with their palm facing towards me with their fingers open. I, talked about Pam doing it to me when I'm being heavily targeted, when they're microwaving us in the house. My daughter would do the same thing too. When, again, I'm being heavily targeted because we're being microwaved. Okay? Now let's go. Okay? So, what she's did, okay? And I'm going to go back just a little. But remember I talked about earlier in my targeting at my job, when I would leave my job and take the stairs to go down to the ground floor. There was a police officer that was always on the staircase, in the bottom of the staircase. And he would lean on the railing, and he would always have his pointing finger pointed down. Okay? And so without realizing it, I didn't know that I was being conditioned. And even the first couple of years of my targeting, um, none of the perps were ever doing that to me until much, much later when people started walking towards me, with their fists closed, except that they would have this pointing finger out. So it's like this. They'll walk like this, okay? And so, again, they basically, remember, Doc NLP talk about triggers and anchors, how you're conditioned, okay, with an anchor, right? And it could be an emotion, a place, a person, an event, a thing, right? And so recently, over the past, I would say, 3 years, people have been doing that to me a lot. And I started developing ways to counter the stuff that they done. So prior to that, um, I was being put through a fixation drill with the thumb. So people would like do this to me, and it was happening all the time. So what I started doing to counter some of that stuff, I would do this. Right? I would put my thumb and place it on my pointer finger. So this is what she is doing at this point right now, right? As she's looking at me. And then you see he makes his finger like a gun, right? Just like this. Okay. Okay. And then now you see how he twists his pointing finger again, right? As I talked about, you know, how I've been conditioned to that. Okay. So, okay, just to let you guys know and understand how I've been conditioned and how they're triggering me. So I'm going to go back a little. Okay. Again, so you guys can see it again. All right. So here they are coming out. Again, here he goes, putting his finger next to his lips, telling me to be quiet. Touches his ears. She, takes her phone out, lift it up. Okay. Now the hand signals, the death threats, the hand signals. Okay. So this is what they do. So, I was trying to find this part of the video when I did um, part one from the three previous video that I made. And so I was able to go back again, just look at the footage again to really analyze it and break it down to what they were doing subliminally. Okay. So now let's move on to this week, right? So today is the 27th. Okay. Yesterday, which was Tuesday, yesterday morning, I took the kids to school. I drove them to school, and I drove Pam to work, and then I was on my way back to my apartment. Okay, and again, the frequency of calls with the number 32 was, too frequent again for it to be coincidental. And I've talked about this, I've shown this on many videos, so you guys should get used to it by now. And so, but this is this is the street that I make the ride on to get to my block, which is 2 blocks down. And you see this bus here, the license plate had the number 32 in it, and then the phone number of the bus had the number 32 in it. And they use a lot of school bus in my targeting too, because again, the number on the bus have the number 32 in it. So I'm constantly seeing school buses, right? Yellow school buses. And so let's video play. Okay, I'm going to mute it again, just for copyright sake. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Okay, so I'm going to skip this, and here I am parking behind this vehicle. Remember in the videos that I've done previously, whenever I get to my block, get parking, there would be a police car driving by. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this guy crossing the street. He's a perpetrator, and he's being used, right, to again participate in the psychological harassment. Okay, so the minute I park and pull up, he comes out over to his van. All right, he's going to go into this van. Again, he has his phone in his hand. Okay. Okay. Just hold on a sec here. The audio is a little off. Okay. So you'll hear me say now you're turning, but it's because. Okay, I'm going to pause that and try to match up the audio with the video. Let's apply that. Okay, so what happened is that I got parking. Like I said, you see the guy comes over. Okay. All right. So I had gotten out of the car. I paused the video. That's why you see it the way how it edited right there. I paused the video. Then I got out the car, waiting, expecting the police car to drive by, which it was at the other side of the block. Okay, I did was behind another car. Okay, on the left side. Okay, and then it went around the vehicle on to the right. It went to the right. Okay, so there's a car on the left side, so it went to the right. So when I came from behind the car, okay, and that police vehicle uh, was behind the other vehicle, they did not see me because I was filming. So it passed the car that's in front of it. It went to the right, meaning that it was coming straight because you can't make a left turn because there was a car on the left. And if it was going to make the left turn, it would have stayed right behind that car on the left to make the left, right? Because that street it's a one-way street. So you can only make a left coming from that direction. So it came up from behind the car, went to the right. Now, when they saw me step out into the street and they saw that I was taping them, they turned. Okay? They were all the way to the right now. Then they made the left. Right. Plus, yes, and they had their lights on. So when I walked out, right, they turned off the light. Okay. Okay. So the audio it's still a little off a little bit there. It's ahead of the video itself. Okay. So you're gonna see. You see, they had already pulled the turned to the right, and you see them right here, right behind that vehicle. Okay. And then they turned. Oh shoot. Okay. Sorry about that. Uh, let's go back again. Okay. No. So they still okay. I'll tell you, trying to navigate the stuff. Okay. So let's go back just a little bit more. Okay. This thing is so frustrating. Okay, here we go. So they turned off the light when they saw me walk out into the street. They came up from behind this vehicle that's in front of them. Okay, and now they turn. See them turning right there? Okay. So again, had I, not had my phone out to record, they would have drove by, and then maybe I wouldn't be able to record them because over the weekend on Saturday, Pam and her family buried her grandmother, and so Saturday morning I left my apartment building. As soon as I exit out, a police car, again synchronization, drove by at the exact same time I exit. Okay, I took my phone to record, and I couldn't access my phone. Okay, I could not access my phone at all. So now I got in the car, right, and I didn't know how to get to the church, so I ended up using the GPS. And on my way there, multiple police vehicles. One of them again had the number 32 in the not in the license plate, but the vehicle number. Okay, on my way there. Okay, but I had to use GPS, so I couldn't just keep recording. I couldn't record anything. Then we get to the cemetery. Okay, immediately as I pull in, as we got into the cemetery, guess what? NYPD vehicle comes slowly driving by. Okay, and then this was Tuesday, because Monday I didn't leave the house until the afternoon. So, but Tuesday morning, after taking the kids to school, dropping them to work, came back to the house, and this happened. All right, so let's move on to the next video. Okay, so now after coming out the my apartment building, um, I'll let the video explain itself. Okay. Okay. Let me again. The audio is not matching up correctly. Let's try this and see. Let's go back. See, I try to go back and then it goes forward. I just don't understand this thing. Now this is the same guy I told you guys to pay attention to in the previous video, right? So he walks over to the car. He walks over to the car, right? Pam's car, the one that I drive. Looks, okay, through the windshield, or the I wasn't sure if it's the windshield or the passenger side window, but directly, and you see him. Okay, so that's him right here. Okay, this is him right here. Okay, you'll see. I mean, it's a little out of focus because of the distances where he's at, but you can see him, right? You can see what he's wearing. There you go. So now look, right? The black car here. That's Pam's car. He's standing directly, on the side, actually, right on the side, looking through the passenger side window. Okay. Now listen when I confront him about it. So then he walks back now to his van. Okay, so again, the audio is a little bit ahead. I got to try to figure this out because for whatever reason, it's not syncing up properly, and so I have to see. So he says, no, can't you see my car is parked? This is van. Yeah, I know your van is parked. Okay, again, the audio. And I'm trying to get this thing to sync properly. Okay, but for whatever reason, it's not syncing. Okay, let me see if this will work. Okay, let's go. Uh, okay, so this is better. And again, this is right. That's his car. Well, I shouldn't say don't walk away, but I should have said, why are you looking in there? But again, he kept denying because I did ask him that, but he kept denying. He's like, no, I'm not looking in the car. But you clearly saw on the video, okay? You clearly let me show you guys again. So this is him walking across the street, okay? That's him walking across the street, okay? And then he walks back to his van. Now you see this red car behind where I'm parked. Now sitting in that car is a Hispanic woman. Now I talked about lately that how they been using Hispanic women in my targeting, right? So she's just sitting in her car, okay? And I didn't notice her at first until I got in the car, sat down. Then she got out of her vehicle and proceeded to walk to her apartment building, okay? Okay, so you guys already seen that. So, uh, okay? I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. What these people are doing, you know. So anyway, got in the car, and the first thing I should have did when I got in the car and mounted my phone and the phone mount was to start recording. Because if I had started recording, you would have seen the Hispanic woman now walking by, right? So this is, they've been using primarily black women too, but they use Hispanic women in a very peculiar way, in a different type of way. Okay, because even earlier today, okay, I had to go to the store to get my son a tie and my daughter uh, um, a headband because they have a play that they're doing for their after school program. And along the way, they're using a lot of Hispanic women. But the difference is that whenever a Hispanic woman would walk towards me or walk across the street, the black women and black men will do this, or they'll stick their finger in their ears. So, you know, the Hispanic women don't do that. When if a black woman approach me, Hispanic women don't do that. Okay, even the Jewish women who they use at time don't do that. Okay, um, you know, so they're targeting me in a very particular way. Okay, so like I said, I should have started recording, but I didn't. But it wasn't until uh, I drove a block over to the next block and made the left that I was like, oh shoot, I didn't start recording. So at this point, I started recording. Okay. Okay. Oh, too far. Too far. Again, trying to okay. So as I'm approaching this intersection, you see a vehicle, right? It's a police vehicle. As I'm approaching, the vehicle lights are turned on. Okay, see it? All right, I come to a complete stop. They make a U-turn. Oh, okay. This is again the audio. I'm gonna try to match it up. Um, okay, let's go back slightly. Okay, I'll try to. Okay. Uh, okay. Again, I'm still trying to get that audio to match up. Okay. So what happened here? And again, the audio is you know it's ahead. So what happened here, right? When they see me approaching, they turn on their lights. They made a U-turn, okay, and then they stop right here. Now you're gonna see a young woman. Again, uh, she looks Hispanic. Okay, this is her coming right here. Right, he proceeded to drive off. Okay, but he pulls over. Okay, now again, let me explain to you how this is all orchestrated. Okay, now look at where he parked, or whoever is driving this vehicle, he or she. Look away that individual parked that's driving this police vehicle from the Office of Mental Health, right? This young woman came out from the store. Okay, right there, there was a parking space that that vehicle could have parked at. Okay, because you'll see he pulls over so that I can get in front of him or her, whoever was driving that vehicle. Okay, So now after after he pulls over, I'm driving, and again this is all orchestrated. So now the vehicle behind me, okay, right, have the license plate. Okay, so I think I'm beginning to understand what's happening here. And again, uh, because the previously the trigger of the number 32, I guess, wasn't, wasn't affecting me. So they have to try another method to try to, condition me to associate the number 32. Sometimes they'll try to do it with the police. Now they're trying to do it with Hispanic women because, you know, the way how I'm being targeted now like this, when it comes, they haven't done it like this with black women, neither with the Hasidic Jewish women that live in my community. But I see that they're doing it with primarily Hispanic women. Okay, so this is what is called the creation of a trigger and anchor, or the transfer of a trigger and anchor. Okay, and again, you know, it doesn't matter because it's I have a love for Hispanic women, you know, and they do this a lot because they try to gander animosity within me against these groups of women. Okay, but it's not going to work. Okay, so again, he pulls over, car directly behind me, got the number 32 and the license plate. Now, the reason why he pulled over, again, is to get my attention. So when I look in my rearview mirror, okay, and then the vehicle that was behind me was an SUV. So it was right there. The license plate was right there in my face when I looked through my rearview mirror. Okay? Okay. Right. Okay. So now I'm approaching my next turn. Okay, maybe let me see. Go back a little bit here. Okay, so again, you start to see a repetition. Okay, so now these are all police vehicles, but these are the mental health police vehicles, right? Or the hospital police. Okay, so as you can see, NYHP. Okay, just like that previous vehicle that made the U-turn, same NYHP. Okay, all right, so now I'm approaching to make my next turn. And again, you'll see another NYHP vehicle. Okay, so I'm going to just skip past some of this because the next uh, scripted street theater is coming very soon. All right, there we go. All right, so after I made that turn, this is the end of that block. The next block, all of a sudden now you'll see police vehicle again, acting as if they're stopping somebody. See this guy looks at his phone on the right as I drove past. Okay, all right. Now I'm gonna go back slightly. Okay, there we go. Here, hold up. Too far. tell you, I really don't like this. Noise goes too far, too far. Okay. Okay. Now, you see the individual hands, the person that they're pulled over. Look how far up his hand is. What he's doing, he's sticking his hand in his ear. And I talk about how the police use the perpetrators to send subliminal message, sometimes even death threats. Sometimes, a police vehicle be driving by, and a perpetrator on the street will do this as they're walking by, like making their finger as a gun, right? Again, trying to send me subliminal threats. Okay. Again, this is what is called masking. Okay, they're masking the psychological harassment, the psychological threats. Okay. All right. So let's go over passing this block, going over to the next block, to the next intersection, and guess what? Okay, here we go. I have to go back a little bit. Okay, I think I went back too far. I got to get another editing software. So the next block over, pull up to the intersection, see a police vehicle on the left. Okay. Now, before the light changes, and again, they time this stuff, right? Before the light changes, you're going to see the two police officers walk towards the vehicle. I want to go back slightly just in case I missed something. There's a vehicle that turned. Let's go back slightly. Let's see here. Okay, so the reason why I'm pausing is because normally, right, that vehicle that's turning would have the number 32 in the license plate, or I would suspect. So that's why I go back just to pause just to see. Now, when the light turned green, that's when they came out walking towards their vehicle. And there you go, the nose doing this hand signal again, subliminal message. Again, letting me know how I was implanted through the nose. Okay. When I hear TI talk about, oh, I'm not implanted, I never had a brain operation. They don't need to have you. They don't need to give you a brain operation to implant a microchip in your brain. Don't you know your nasal passages is a direct passageway to the brain, and all they need is a very long needle, and know exactly where to place it. And again, the audio is a little ahead of the video. You hear the car driving, but the video, the car is still at the stoplight. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next vehicle. Next video, I mean. So immediately as I cross the light, go on to the next block, um, and I didn't realize that the video had stopped recording. Okay, that the camera had stopped recording. So it wasn't until I got to the other intersection I realized that the phone has stopped recording, because when I crossed, right after I crossed from where that police car was parked up, this car turned in front of me. And remember, I talked about how, because I stopped the video to show that white vehicle that was turning, but they didn't do it like that. What they did is that they waited until I went across the intersection to have a vehicle turn in front of me with the number 32 in the light plate. And again, not realizing that the camera has stopped recording because the 10 minutes was already finished, and I can only record in 10 minutes interval. So then I got to, I'm like, wait a minute. I looked up and I was like, because I was, you know, narrating all this way until I realized that the phone is not recording. So I had to start recording, and this is what you see here. Okay. It's another police vehicle again. Now, all while this is going on, they're sending me subliminal message also about my disability, receiving my disability. Okay. And this is a continuous thing that they do all the time. I tend to not talk about it all the time, but usually when I'm being heavily targeted, right, they'll throw in that uh, if you continue receiving disability, which I have a valid reason why. Okay, two valid reasons, as a matter of fact, uh, of why I have disability, because of the damage to my spine that they did using the vibrational acoustic technology to vibrate my bones basically, and to injure my spine to the point where, you know, every time when I went to do MRIs on my back, okay, my spine, they always say that my injury is consistent with someone who's been in a serious car accident. Okay, that's just to let you know. All right, but because again, the coercive persuasion program, and I guess my failure to adapt to their ideology or belief system of, you know, speaking out against what's being done. Okay, so you'll see as I approach my next turn, which is Pam's block, you'll see an NYPD vehicle going across right there. Okay, that NYPD video going to the left. I mean, that vehicle, NYPD vehicle going to the left, right there. Synchronization. As soon as I approach, and look how it stops. Right, slightly. It stops slightly, driving very slow across so that I can see them. All right, this is again what they do. This is the level of harassment, the level of stalking, and it is stalking. Okay, and here I am, and you see that. Let me go back a little bit. Uh, okay, let's go back some more. All right, so this paramedic standing here. Look, she started covering her mouth. It's a woman. She's covering her mouth as she sees me, and I'm going to make the turn. It's okay. Light's changing again. And then the guy with the dog standing there, she's looking at me. Uh, okay, so now she's standing there with her arms folded, like she's upset or mad or something. The ambulance there. And immediately when I parked, okay, she drove off. She got into the ambulance and drove off. All right. And I should have uh, kept recording, but I end up stopping the phone from recording, which I got to learn to at least, when I get parking to still record for at least up to 5 minutes. Okay. But again, just showing you guys what it is that they do to me and how the subliminal messaging and the anchors and triggers that they are trying to like they're trying to trigger me, and then they'll try to condition me. Okay, so I hope I have explained you guys exactly what's been done to me in this coercive persuasion program, and I'll see you guys on the next video.